Howdy folks, this is LB, the Comet, and today I'm going to be reviewing Vixen, Return of the Lion, graphic novel. It collects Vixen 1 through 5, came out in 2009, written by Gwendolyn Wilson, penciled by Kafu, inked by Bit, and colored by Santiago Arcas. And you don't have to worry, I'm not going to be giving out any spoilers. Nature of a review, you're going to reveal a little bit, but make sure it's nothing too big. I'm a storyteller at heart, so I really, review is supposed to be, isn't supposed to reveal everything. It's just supposed to give you enough to see if you'll want to experience it or not, and I don't want to, steal the experience of the story from you if you decide you want to read it. Coming into the book, I didn't know a whole lot about Vixen. My only real exposure to her was from the old Justice League cartoon. But I always liked her look, always liked the character, the power set. And I'm someone who really likes diversity in comics, or at least when it's done well. Now, sometimes it comes across as, kind of PC or publicity stunt, so the New York Times can, write about it or whatever. Here's looking at you, Marvel. But I'm not going to rant about that right now. But, so I saw Vixen, and it's a story about a woman of color, and you don't have a whole lot of that in comics. I wanted to put it as part of my collection. One of the first things you'll learn about me is that I tend to gravitate towards the female characters. And besides, they're more appealing to look at, I usually just find them more interesting. You imagine you see a picture of a boxer, and the guy's standing there, and he's got his gloves, he's got his trunks, maybe he's beat up a little bit. And you look at it, and you don't think much more than, oh yeah, that's a boxer. But you take the same person, same trunks, same gloves, and you make it female. And suddenly you have all these questions, because it's not the stereotypical boxer that you usually have in your mind. Why did she become a boxer? What obstacles she had to face. It just becomes a lot more interesting. You start asking questions, and when you ask questions about a character, usually that means you have a more intriguing character. It's kind of like Batman and Batwoman. I love Batman. The whole world loves Batman. But at the end of the day, he's just a rich white guy. And there's nothing wrong with that. But when he's outside of Batman, when he's Bruce Wayne, he's not really all that interested. Any drama that Bruce Wayne has is usually because of Batman, not because of Bruce Wayne. But then you have Batwoman, who is female and lesbian, and her path to be Batwoman, as opposed to Bruce Wayne's path to be Batman, is very much different. A lot more obstacles to face. She doesn't have the same resources, and she's lesbian and in the military, so you have a lot more drama there, just more interesting. And so you kind of have that here in Vixen, in that she comes across as a lot more interesting than kind of your cookie cutter superheroes. That was a little bit of a tangent, so I'm going to go ahead and move on to actually reviewing Vixen. I'm not going to talk too much about the artwork because I'm going to splicey some shots during the video. You'll be able to see for yourself. But I think it's great. It's very good. It's very colorful while still being down to earth. It's very vibrant. A lot of the story takes place in Africa, and I don't know anything about Africa. I'm an ignorant idiot, but it really comes across as very authentic. It feels like the artist either they've been there or they have good pictures to go off of. And better than that is the character drawings. They're very sharp, very detailed, and best of all, the expressions come across very, very well. Which sometimes in comic books, the expressions aren't so great. That sometimes the artist kind of relies on the dialogue and the writing to, convey emotion, and that's not the case here. The expressions are very, very nice. Vixen herself looks fantastic in this. She's beautiful and she's sexy, but not in a salacious way. It's very classy, very graceful, sleek. She's actually not in her costume all that much in the story. She's in this blue dress. It's kind of maybe African style, but it looks good. She's got she's got the tomboy haircut and then the big eyes. She really comes across as Halle Berry, and that ain't a bad thing. She looks great. The other characters look good. Justice League. Several Justice League members are in this, and they look very iconic, and but also relatable. It's very good. Long story short, the art is great. I think it's great. And you'll be able to see it here in the video, and see if you like that style, see if it's something that appeals to you. On to the story, which is, the most important thing of all. I didn't really know much about Vixen's backstory going into this, and it's not really told here in the story so much as they talk about it just a little bit. Apparently she grew up in a small village in Africa, and someone killed her mother, and around that time she finds a magic totem that gives her powers, and the Justice League is there, and together they work together and bring them to justice, and that's supposed to be her origin story, what happened a long time ago. And now she's working with the Justice League, and she's older and more experienced. Well, at the beginning of this story, her and the Justice League, they infiltrate an intergang camp, and they come across information that reveals that they got the wrong man, and that the real murderer of her mother is still out there. And not only is he still out there, but he's a warlord, and he's terrorizing her former hometown, which is kind of convenient, but stories being stories. And so Vixen goes alone. She returns home, and it's a revenge story. She wants to come back and avenge her mother's death. And it seems simple, on that account, but it becomes a lot more than that. It is a revenge story, but more than that, it's a character driven story, in that she returns home and she reconnects with her roots, and she's kind of rediscovering herself and trying to find out who she is and what she needs to do and who she's become, and exactly how her powers work, and if her powers make her Vixen, or if it's something deeper. And I really enjoy those kind of stories, those character-centric stories. Those are always the best to me. And also in saying that, there are action scenes in this, and they're good, but they take a back seat to the character-centric stuff. So if you're coming into this and you want to see the big slam-bam superhero war fights or whatever, you don't get a whole lot of that here. You get some. You get Vixen, fighting the warlord and fighting off some wild animals, and you get a Justice League versus intergang thing. But it's not the main attraction. If you're coming here for the fights, you're probably going to be a little disappointed. That's not what Vixen Return of the Lion is all about. But if you come in and you're interested in who Vixen is, and you want to see her grow and change and become stronger and become even more of a hero than she already is, then you're really going to enjoy this. I think I enjoy it. It's a good introduction to Vixen, and it's a little disappointing just because, not the story itself. The story's great. I like it. But you kind of hoped it would become something more. Vixen's a good character. She's got a great look. She's got a good personality. And her powers, I like her powers. And you kind of hoped it would become more, that she would, get her own solo series going forward. That wasn't in the cards. Maybe it would be in the cards later on. But as far as just this story goes, I can recommend it to everyone. Absolutely. Excluding, some of the parameters I said earlier, about the fight scenes or whatever. If you're not a huge fan of Vixen, if you are kind of in between on her character, or you're kind of on the fence, you're not sure if you really care about this person, there's probably not enough here for you. The Justice League is here, and they have something of a B story. They're investigating intergang, and Justice League is the Justice League. They have their banter. They have they have some fights in here. But if you're not into Vixen, it's probably not going to be enough to hold your attention, because it doesn't, the B story, it doesn't take away from Vixen's story. I feel like it adds to it. It adds another layer to it, which is nice. So, in the end, I very much recommend this book. I liked it a lot. So, until next time, I'm LB, the Comet, and be merry.